Jai Hind students, I welcome you all in lecture number 3 from the subject Strategic Human Resource Management. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the impacts of globalization on strategic human resource management. When we talk about the globalization, it is about the creation of a borderless global economy that allows unhindered movement of finance, products, services, information, and people. Today, the globalization is the way of doing the business. Most of the organizations are doing their business at the national and at the international level. And when we talk about the term globalization, it is treated as a single unified economy. Globalization is a concept which emphasizes on the two key ideas, that is interdependence and integration, that may be across the national borders. While we talk about the globalization, it has the following features. There is a deregulation of the markets. Now, if any particular company want to do the business in any other country, they can easily do it. There is a free flow of the financial capital among the nations. There is a complex financial instruments and like the organizations, if they want to spread or if they want to just share their new innovative ideas at the world level, they can do so. Now there is an ease in doing the business. There is a growth in the information and the communication technologies. There is significant population growth and major changes in the demography even. Like there is an emergence of the integrated global market. The whole world is taken as a single unified market. So globalization has created a lot of the opportunities for all the kind of the economies, whether they are underdeveloped, developing or developed. So that's why globalization plays a crucial role. Today, a lot of the people have their perceptions about the globalization. Most of the people are in the favor of the globalization, but some of the people are against the globalization. Those who are in the favor of the globalization, they say that it is a good thing because with the globalization, there is an increase in the demand for the products and services, which is leading to the economies of scale for the companies. There is an enhanced access to the commodities. Even we at our place, if we want any product which is only available in any foreign country, so we can have the access to that particular commodity. So that's why globalization somehow is good. It has increased the flow of investment and it is the emergence of the cross national networks of people. So the underdeveloped economies and the developing economies are getting more chances to grow with the help of the globalization. So that's why globalization is somehow good. It is benefiting all the countries as a whole. It is benefiting the customers as a whole because now they have more of the products to consume. There is more competition in the market. There are more employment opportunities in the market. So that's why globalization is good. But there are certain people, those who are against the globalization, they say that like when we are more dependent on the globalization, so that means we are dependent on more of the other economies. And there may be the problems at the local level, like it may impact the businesses of the domestic traders. It may just again create the dominance of the global brands in the local market. So somehow it is just creating the problems for the people at the local level. So globalization although is good, but is not at all good in or not in favor of the small traders and the domestic traders. Even most of the people have commented it like while we go with the globalization, the whole sole purpose of the foreign companies to come in the countries and the developing nation is to just make the maximum profit, and they always work for their own sake. So that is like a kind of a selfish goal which is associated with the foreign companies, and they may take the adverse benefit out of all these things. So that's why they say that globalization is not at all good. Like when we talk about the globalization, there is a strong connection between the globalization and the strategic human resource management because SHRM deals with the people. And so globalization with the globalization, it has increased the challenges for the human resource management area also. Like the people, those who are working in the companies, they must be trained, they must have the proper knowledge of the culture where they are going to do the job. So it is somehow just dependent on the notion that think globally but act locally. There are a lot of the implications of the globalization for the HR function. There is a need to develop the global leaders with a global perspective. Like if you are a leader in any company, so you are not only required to manage the people under the same roof for from your own nation. You are required to just guide the people, those who belong to the different cultures, those who have come from the different nations. So that makes your task challenging. So that's why there is a need to develop the global leaders with a global perspective. There is a need to educate the leaders and the managers with the effective mentoring programs and the coaching programs. There is a need for the career development and succession planning of the managers and the leaders inside the organization. The second implication may be the adaptable and flexible organizational structures. With the advent of the globalization, now it is compulsory for all the organizations that whether if they are working on the policies or any kind of the structure or rules, so there must be a place for the flexibility into them, because the globalized world is changeable. There is always a scope for a change. There may be a change in the policy of any foreign nation, there may be a change in the political scenario of any nation. So there may be change in the organization philosophy or in the organization policies at any time. So the people, those who are associated with any organization, they must have the proper training on the change management system. They should not resist the change. They must be ready to just adopt all the changes that comes out of the environment, because of the environment. So they must be ready for that. Like there is an increase in the number of the mergers and acquisitions, alliances and joint ventures in between the companies. So the employees are under the pressure that how to cope up with that. Now it is the responsibility of the HR area to just train the people for all these kind of the changes, for all the kind of the new changes that comes in the organization because of the international environment. Then managing supply chains. Most of the organizations are dependent on outsourcing of the parts. Like there is a change in the supply chain management system. So there is a need to create and sustain new forms of the organization structure. There is a concept of the global team now, and the diversified people from the diversified background are there in a single team. So there must be a proper training that must be provided to the leaders so that they can just guide and mentor the whole team members in a proper way. So that's why this is also one of the implication of the globalization for the HR function. Updating core competencies and skill. Like now the competition of the organization is not only at the local level, it is at the international level. So there is a continuous need to upgrade the skills of the employees, those who are associated with the organization. With the obsolete technologies, no organization can survive. So it is a high time where all the employees must be trained and must have the upgraded skills so that they can compete with the branded products, or you can say the global brands. So it is now again a kind of a challenge for the HR departments that they have to just develop the training and development programs for their employees to upgrade their skills so that the employees can learn the new competencies and skills and can cope up with the global environment. So this is again one of the challenge or the implication of globalization for the HR function. Managing a diversified workforce. Now the organizations have the teams, and the teams are the global teams. Like somebody is from Spain, the other one is from UK, the third one is from France. So that kind of a change is there.